Hi, this is Thomas Mark Moore and another video diary entry regarding my experiences in the Macomb County justice system. I have a PVR today for you, probation violation report. I have to make this kind of quick because I only have 15 minutes. On 6/11/12, the defendant was present at a court hearing. He had requested the petition for termination of his probation. Concerns had been expressed by the FBI to the Macomb County Probation Department about the defendant's contact with them, where he was requesting an investigation into 14th Amendment rights violations, and his increased agitation when the FBI told him that they could not help. Therefore, the defendant's probation was continued and he was amended to require the defendant to complete a psychological evaluation, complete mental health, domestic violence battery intervention, or other treatment, and to waive confidentiality and allow any treatment program that he is required to attend to disclose information to the probation agent. He reported to the probation office immediately after court. The defendant was given referrals to several clinics in Macomb County that provide mental health services and was instructed to return on Thursday, 6/14/12 to report as assigned probation agent. On 6/14/12, the defendant reported and stated that he did not understand why the court was ordering him to obtain a psychological evaluation and mental health treatment. He stated that he had been attending mental health treatment at Eastwood Clinic this spring for a short time, and that he obtained a psychological evaluation in April of this year for approval for his SSI/SSD payments. However, the defendant refused to sign a release of information to allow the probation department to verify this information and obtain a copy of his evaluation. The defendant further stated that he had called one of the agencies he had been referred to and inquired about his psychological evaluation. He stated that he would have to pay for it and that he could not afford to pay for the evaluation. The defendant kept asking why he was required to obtain a psychological evaluation, despite efforts by this writer and supervisor Tonga Hurst to explain to the defendant that the court is requesting a diagnosis and recommendation for a course of treatment from a mental health professional. The defendant repeatedly stated that the new probation conditions were the fault of his previous probation agent and that the court just rubber stamped what she wanted. The defendant then started requesting FOIA access to his file, specifically the case report written to the court by Agent Lisa Wilson, recommending that the amendment requiring the defendant to obtain mental health evaluation and treatment. He was given a contact number to make a formal FOIA request. The defendant became agitated and appeared to want his FOIA access immediately. He had to be asked to leave. He did leave the building, but returned to the probation department a few minutes later and started asking the office receptionist for FOIA access paperwork. Despite being told that FOIA access was not her job and she could not assist him, this agent and Supervisor Hurst had to intervene and assist the defendant leave the building. The defendant stated that he had a psychological evaluation for his application for SSI/SSD, but would not sign the release form or provide documentation of the evaluation. He stated that he had been attending dual diagnosis treatment at Eastwood Clinic, but again declined to sign a release of information and stated that he is suing Eastwood Clinic. He would not state why he is suing the agency. The defendant further stated that a new psychological evaluation would cost him money that he does not have. He provided a copy of a letter awarding him disability benefits from the Social Security and said that was proof he had attended a psychological evaluation. The defendant was sentenced to 2 years probation on December 9, 2010. After spending 6 months in jail with good time, I was oversentenced. He was oriented to probation on 1/4/11 and placed on a telephone reporting system on 1/5/2012. The defendant called in to report monthly as directed, and I also paid. The defendant completed a substance abuse assessment at PA 511 Community Corrections on 1/7/11. He has provided a certificate saying that he completed the opiate specific group at Clinton Counseling on 3/10/11 and a substance abuse treatment at Eastwood Clinic on 5/8/12. discharge summaries and prognosis are not have been provided from either program. On 6/5/12, the supervising probation agent received a phone call from FBI agent Jeff Eberly stating that the defendant had been coming in to the FBI office in Clinton Township every week for the last 6 months demanding a 14th Amendment rights violation investigation. He had alleged that the Macomb County Sheriff's Department had arrested him, put him in a cage, and trailed him around the world with Michelle Obama. Agent Eberly said that the defendant had been becoming increasingly belligerent and that they were concerned about his propensity to commit violence. There were also allegations from the defendant that he had been trapped on Air Force One and that he had been tortured. The defendant had filed a motion to request termination of his probation. A hearing was set for 6/11/12. Given the above concerns of the FBI and concerns about the defendant's mental state, an amendment to the defendant's probation instructing the defendant to obtain a psychological evaluation, mental health treatment, and to sign a release of information was requested. The court approved the amendment. On 6/11/12 at the hearing, the defendant's petition to terminate probation was denied, and he was served an amendment to his probation instructed to sign it. He then was instructed to report immediately to the probation department. He did so and was seen by a duty officer who gave him referrals to local agencies that provide mental health evaluations and treatment. Then he was instructed to return to report on 6/14/12 to see his assigned probation agent. The defendant reported as instructed 6/14/12. He failed to sign a release of information to allow the probation department to obtain records of the psychological evaluation and treatment. He stated he had already attended and complained that he cannot afford to have another evaluation done. The defendant became increasingly agitated and started insisting that he wanted FOIA access to his file. He had to be asked to leave. He returned a few minutes later and started insisting that the receptionist provide him with FOIA forms, which she does not have access to. He had to be asked to leave a second time. Everywhere else, most places in Macomb County where I went in to ask for a FOIA request, gave me a form that I could fill out to be submitted. Then I got something in the mail at a later time. I know how it works. They tried to paint a picture of me that was untrue. The defendant is eligible for PA 511 programming. He is not eligible for the Special Alternative Incarceration Program. Given the defendant's behavior, he is not a good candidate for electronic monitoring at this time. The defendant's behavior in the community has demonstrated that he cannot be supervised by the probation department. In view of the above, it's respectfully recommended by the Michigan Department of Corrections Probation Department that the defendant's probation be terminated after a year and a half, no incidents, paying, phone reporting, no contact with law enforcement, and that he receive a sentence of 365 days in the Macomb County Jail, credit 153 days with evaluation by Macomb County Jail for mental health assessment and treatment. You know what that means, people? When you go to Macomb County Sheriff's Office jail or any other jail for mental health assessment and treatment, you get put in a jail cell, locked down 23 hours a day, and they give you meds. That's all it is. It's not treatment, it's housing and medication. That's all it is. So, you can believe what you want to believe. I filed a federal lawsuit based on this trash and lost because I'm not a lawyer. But the information has been filed, and someone with some intelligence can look at all the material I submitted and filed in U.S. District Court in Detroit and discern something happened to this guy. Why did he come down with a physical and mental disability while incarcerated in jail? Police are supposed to protect and serve, not seek and destroy. My life has downgraded significantly since 2010. I have COPD, I have anxiety and depression issues, I have chronic pain issues, and all derived in 2010 when I was in the custody of Macomb County Sheriff's Office. I tried to go to the FBI, and they were somewhat the same. They weren't very forthcoming in help. They kind of took my information down one time. I reported what happened to me. An agent wrote down on a piece of paper what I reported. And I went back there over a period of time for follow-up. I didn't go there every week demanding satisfaction, demanding results. I was just inquiring what was going on because what happened to me, as reported, was human trafficking, torture. I almost died. I almost died. And by the grace of God, I survived. And today I have ongoing problems from that experience. I can no longer work really in society. I'm damaged goods. And I did all that I could do. I tried to file that U.S. District lawsuit, case number 2:13-CV-11789, based on the ADA, American Disabilities Act, and other counts, but I did too many counts on that lawsuit. I know now that I should have kept it down to 1 to 4 counts, and I should have done a summary judgment. And then I may have gotten some relief. I'm not a lawyer. I'm learning as I go. But as for now, that's my entry for today. And people have known me in the past, know the core of me. They know I'm not a violent individual. They know I'm an okay person. And what's happened to me the last 4 years has really been unacceptable. So this is my diary entry for today, people, and good luck. Goodbye.